Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Casio WKV-10. This is basically the world's first camera watch with a color display. Not the world's first camera watch, but the world's first color camera watch. The world's first camera watch was technically the Casio WKV-1, which was released in the year 2000, and it was same as this watch, the WKV series. There was four of them. So the WKV-1 was a black and white camera watch, which had a resolution of 120 by 120. Pretty bad by today's standards, but at the time, for that being in a watch, it was pretty impressive to most people. Um, Later on came out the WKV-2, which just built upon that, but was pretty much the same. Then came the WKV-3, which was also black and white, and I believe introduced infrared data exchange. There were all data bank watches from Casio. And then finally, in the WKV-10 came out in 2001 and was basically the first one to have an LCD color display and a wide range of colors. So it has a 1/14 inch CMOS sensor, which basically it's a tiny little sensor, and the resolution is 176 by 144. It has an f-stop of 2.8, and it has a fixed focal length of 1.1 millimeters. So today we're actually going to be taking it apart, the WKV-10, just to see what's inside. I got this one off eBay a while back for like around $100, and you really can't find these anywhere else. The camera on this one sadly wasn't functioning properly, so I decided to pop it open and see if maybe it was just a loose ribbon cable or something that I could fix. And basically going to be showing you guys. I'm not going to talk through all of this, but just watch and enjoy if you like. So it basically has four screws here that you just pop those off and you can get right in. Good note of thumb, you should always remove the battery of anything you're taking apart. You can see it also has a little red water damage indicator sticker, which was pretty interesting. And also maybe some sort of date, but that seems to have a bit of water damage or just worn away. So right now I'm removing the first little ribbon cable we encounter. That's actually for the camera, as I would find out later. And you have this first little plastic cover that you have to remove. So we got that off. So right now I'm just trying to pry at it, see how it comes out. Just had to wiggle it a bit here. It was a bit tricky because I didn't want to break the thing because I was unfamiliar, but just wiggling it around, see what exactly comes loose. You see a little frame that popped out from the display. You could just pop that in later. So after a bit of wiggling, I eventually get it out. And there you go. So as you see, the camera kind of fell out on the back. But this is actually the main little panel. It's kind of nice how it's all compact. And here is the camera. Like I said, small little CMOS sensor with a 176 by 144 resolution. So now I'm going to try to get that metal frame off just to see what else is inside. Dig a bit deeper. Little note about the watch, the display actually seems to be slightly damaged. It has a bit like of a cracking to it, but overall the display works fine. It's a very low contrast display, kind of hard to see. I'm assuming it's a bit of damage, but I'm also assuming it's a bit of the age of the watch. And right here we have a look at the main PCB. You can see the battery leads there and all the little ribbon cable connectors. You have those main little chipsets, probably some flash memory and some image processing. You can see those little pins on the bottom. It actually connects to the display with like a little, not quite sure what that connector is called, but it's like a little soft connector that just makes contact with those pins. And you can see the gold leads on the side, the little like edges. That's where the buttons would make contact to actually click. And here you have the display assembly. So you have a little interesting fluorescent orange. I'm assuming that has to do something with the liquid crystal display. And now you have the main body, and these are basically all the main pieces that were inside the watch. It's pretty nice, simple design. It's a very aesthetically pleasing watch. I really like the design of this watch. It'd be nice to see some future watches come out with this design. So now we're actually going to start putting it back together, which is always the tricky part. You have that little spring that came out, most likely to make contact to the base for grounding purposes, most likely. So pretty simple, everything just snaps back together. One of the more tricky parts was actually reconnecting the camera and to the ribbon cable. Oh, and you could actually see the little infrared sensors there, the transmitter and receiver, because you could use that to exchange data with other watches and or possibly a computer as well. So right now I'm just aligning everything, getting the buttons out of the way, pushing them out to make room for the little module. Those buttons are actually held in there by E-clips so they don't fall out. And they were actually kind of tricky. You kind of have to push them out of the way to be able to push in the whole assembly back in. So just a lot of tapping and wiggling to get things where they're supposed to be. There it goes, seems to be clicking back in. And now we get the ribbon cable in there. I actually had to take the watch apart one more time, which I'm not showing here, but because one of the buttons wasn't actually making contact, so I had to cut that part out when I had to take the whole thing apart again, which you usually have to do the first time you're taking something apart if you're not careful. Probably should have troubleshooted it before putting everything back together. Make sure everything was working. So now we're just screwing back the screws. We put in the little rubber O-ring that it had. The watch is water resistant. It doesn't advertise as waterproof, but it is pretty resistant to water. So now we're just putting in the last screws and putting in back the 9-volt button cell battery. The battery cap, you just line it up to where it says open, twist it with a coin to close, and now we test the watch. So we actually did get the camera working again, and just a quick little video I wanted to post, see if you guys enjoyed it. So like it, subscribe, I'll be posting some more things. That's all for now.